I'm a bit of a creature for habit, I'm afraid. I like a good fry up once a week, and I always think your fish and chips are nice, and you know, keeps the old body greased up, you know, as I say. I thoroughly enjoy the meal that I have in here. My father was Scottish, my mother was English, Kentish, and well, I was born in Scotland, 1939, just before the war broke out. And in fact, I was christened the day the war did break out, funny enough. And we lived in Scotland till about 1949. My father drove locomotives in the West Highland line, but my mother didn't enjoy very good health up on the west coast of Scotland, and very damp climate, so we moved down to Herne Bay. I sold the house in Herne Bay and I moved to Swalowcliffe and been there ever since. This is where I come to Whitstable. I've always worked in Whitstable. I worked for the British Gas Company in the old days, and I was an engineer. Did 40 years with British Gas, and know most of the people around Whitstable. It's always been my working area, and get to know people. Whitstable itself, I think it's still got some of its old charm in it, especially down this part of the world. I always think, yeah, it's you know, the trouble is, I mean, I don't know if I should say this, but it's my opinion. There's too many estate agencies and too many charity shops, but that's only my opinion. But there you go. I think people like to see all the old-fashioned type shops, you know, with I mean, people would always want to go to these big hypermarkets and malls and that now. I mean, they like to. Some people, they like a little bit of attention personally, you know. They just want to go in there and stand at a desk and wait to be paid and all this business, you know. They like a bit of individuality, as they call it. Yeah. No, I've never eaten an oyster, and a friend of mine had one, and I stood in front of her as she was eating it, and I thought, no way. They tell me you have to swallow it down in one go, but I think it would come down and it would come back up again, but there you go. No, I've never tasted an oyster. I've got a hobby that started about 1973. I was an avid bus spotter in my younger days, when I used to buy the Ian Allen books and take numbers. I didn't have much fascination for East Kent buses. I always had a fascination for London buses, and I always said to myself, I'm going to buy a London bus one day. And I made the decision in 1973, went up to London Transport when they were getting rid of a lot of the type of buses I was after. And I put a bid in for one, got one, and the fella said, right, if you'd like to pay for it now, you can take it away. And I was thinking to myself, God, I've never driven a London bus before, I've never even driven a bus, let alone a London one. And there was me driving down from Chiswick down through the Old Kent Road with this bus. Never driven one before in my life, and got the hang of it anyway, and brought it home and put it outside my front door, all proud with it. My mother came out and said, oh, not another 9 days wonder, and I think when she's looking up now, I've had it 37 years, she'll begin to wonder, well, you didn't do too bad. So yeah, I went up to Chiswick, which was no longer there, unfortunately. Now there was a big training centre there, and I went on a fortnight's course, and went on the London Transport driving course, and was a week on theory. Then went out on the skid pan for a couple of times to learn how to control a bus, and then we went out in the London streets and drove a bus all around London. Then I told them, well, I don't really want to work for you because I've got a bus of my own, which they took a divvy off, but yeah. I don't know about during the Euro, I've never been all that keen on being with Brussels anyway, even more so since the bus business, because there's so many regulations are coming now that it gets me on my joke sometimes, you know. That's the way it goes. I used to run a tape recording club in Whitstable. We used to meet up at the old record centre by next to Wetherspoons, funny enough. There was a record shop there. We used to meet once a week, I think it was. And it was at the time when the Pirates were out on the courts, and we used to do a lot of tapes for them for commercials. We used to do sometimes background music for them, or sometimes we used to do ad-libs and that sort of stuff. take it or leave it. I'm not that fussy, to be quite honest with you. Not that fussy. I think, personally, I think the money could be spent elsewhere better, but that's only my view. I like sport, don't get me wrong. I mean, I enjoy motor racing. I enjoy a little bit of golf, although I don't play the game, but I like to watch the big golf matches. The motor racing, the Formula Ones, I like to watch that. I'd like to go out to that if I could, one of the race meetings if I could, one of these days. I don't think I'd like to see it too modern. I mean, they keep on about putting the marinas in or all this sort of thing. I mean, again, it's for the people who've got the money, who come down from London or wherever, who are going to benefit from it. But I like to keep it to its old-fashioned charm, you know, with the old harbour and the old ways it used to. I have cod and chips today. I'll have bread and butter and a mug of tea, please.